Madam President, thank you for the opportunity to sit down and talk to you today. And unfortunately, I do want to inform you that the entire Rochester Police Department command staff has announced their retirement. That includes the police chief, that includes Commander Deputy Chief Morbido. I believe that also Chief Deputy Chief Simmons, and there may be a number of others that will decide to leave as well and retire.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about what you just saw, which was a Rochester, New York City Council meeting on Zoom featuring the Black female mayor, Lovely Warren, announcing that the entire command staff for Rochester Police Department have retired all at once, including the Black male police chief, LaRon Singletary. Now, I mentioned the race of the chief and the mayor for a particular reason. We'll get to that a little bit later in the video. Y'all just hang tight. But are you surprised at any of this? If you are, you shouldn't be, because I'm not surprised. I've seen it coming for a very long time. In Rochester, as any other city that has a BLM type protest happening, you're going to have the police retire, quit, or just kind of stand down if they don't have any kind of support from the local government. Now, before I go down that road, I got to back up a little bit here just so we're on the same page with each other, just so you understand what's going on. I think by now you've all heard about Daniel Prude, a 41-year-old Black male who died shortly after interaction with the police in Rochester. They were called to the scene by Mr. Prude's brother because he was high on drugs. Okay, there was body cam footage, and if you've not seen that, I'll link to it in the box. And it showed him visibly high on drugs, acting crazy, talking crazy. It's March, it's snowing lightly. He's out there butt naked, right? We'll talk about that a little bit later as well. They're trying to get him to calm down and trying to get him to stop. He's ranting about having the virus and starts to spit. So when he starts to spit, they don't want to get the virus. They don't want to get any other thing that he has in the spit. So they put a spit hood or a spit sock or a spit guard, whatever you want to call it, over his head. Now, this device is designed to prevent him from spitting on anyone, but also to be able to breathe totally. He died a week later after the police interaction when they were trying to arrest him, trying to get him to calm down. And the cause of death was asphyxiation. So they're trying to say that the police killed him, they choked him out, and all this and that and the third. All right. And there's a BLM protest happening right now, and it's been happening for a few days. Now, the event happened in March. Nobody cared back then, but when the video came out, all of a sudden it was a big issue because that's how BLM operates. Now, there's all kind of character assassination coming from the outside, according to LaRon Singletary, the now former Rochester police chief, and it's also a lot of heat coming to the officers. You got the protests happening right now, and the president of the city council, another Black woman, is saying, oh, they should just, relax their attack. They should kind of stand down a little bit, all this and that and the third. So I can already see what's going on here. The city council ain't really backing them up. You got people in the streets, targeting them for harassment. And you know what's next. You're going to have the ambulance chaser come in town, Ben Crump. You're going to have crazy lawyers come in town. You're going to have private autopsies, all kind of stupid stuff. It's going to be a circus. So you say, you know what? Rather than going through all of that, rather than having my name dragged through the mud, I'm going to go ahead and retire right now and cash out. Okay, his deputy police chief, LaRon Singletary, that is, was on the force 34 years. LaRon Singletary was there for 20 years. So you're talking about veterans that have been there for a very long time and say, you know what, I'm out all at once. Are you surprised? Because I'm not. This is what's going to happen. We see it all over the country already. Morale's real low. You got the blue flu thing going. Remember that whole blue flu? In Atlanta, where guys would just call out because the local government wasn't supporting them. Keisha Lance Bottoms, when they were getting all the harassment and not getting support from local government and from just regular normies on the street, and say, you know what, let me just stay home. I'm sick right now. I got a cough. I got the blue flu. Okay. You see it now all over the nation. They did it in LA. In Minneapolis, they're doing that. I think they've lost like 10 to 20% of their force. New York City, same kind of thing going on. Seattle, Washington, we saw Carmen Best, the Black female police chief, retire. It's interesting how you have all these BLM protests, right? And they say that Black Lives Matter and we're doing things for black people, but yet they're victimizing mostly black people. You got black folks that have been shot, killed. You got black police chiefs that are being forced to retire. Guys are quitting. Guys are moving away. Guys are not even really doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're kind of being less proactive. Who are you really helping? You got the black on black murder rate jumping up, the shooting jumping up, burglary, rape, robbery, all that's jumping up in the black community because of the assault on police. So who are you helping with BLM? Different story. I digress. I think what's going on here is that the white guilt and the black privilege guilt is making things just go really haywire and the police are done. Here's an example of one of the crazy protests that I've seen that the police are tired of dealing with because it's just dumb. And you're going to see more things like this start to happen. And trigger warning, you might not like what you see, but it is censored. So that kind of gives you a preview of what's going to happen. Now, you know how Daniel Prude was arrested. He was out there butt naked with a spit hood on, right? So a bunch of protesters, mostly white liberals, went out there on the street butt naked with a spit hood on. And one of these guys has Black Lives Matter like scrawled on his back. Now, is that a tattoo? Is that some magic marker, some gray or black chalk or crayon or pen? I don't know what's going on, but you see what is happening. Rather than just going through that circus, he's like, you know what? I'm going to retire. I'm going to cash out. I'm going to move to Florida and have that be that. Not only LaRon Singletary, the chief, but also the deputy police chief and everybody else on the command staff. Okay. Now they're still going to have riots out there or so-called protests in Rochester. What are they going to do as far as any kind of leadership? Who's going to be in charge of the police force? I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? But I think you're going to see more things like this as you have these stupid protests continue, really riots. There was more incidents. There are more incidents like the guys out there butt naked, but this was more confrontational. Did you guys see the so-called protests of the guys that were in the McDonald's? You got mostly black folks out there screeching on the bullhorns at a black man and his black employees working behind the counter at McDonald's. For what though? Like, do you want something to eat? You guys look to be a hamburger shy of a heart attack, so that might not be the best idea. So what are you even screeching about? Why are you trying to fight this black man? What does he got to do with Daniel Prude? He wasn't the one out there with him. He wasn't the one that sold Daniel Prude the PCP and got him high as gas in 2003. That's not him. So why are you coming at him? It doesn't make any sense. And the police are saying, you know what? All right, we're trying to stop all this. The community is kind of being overrun by these people from the community that aren't really trying to help. The city council, what are they doing? They're talking about we're doing too much. And we're not trying to have the national people come in here, the ambulance chasers, the clout chasers, the freelance film photographers. We don't want any of that. So we're going to go ahead and back off. Similar to what Carmen Best did and what other men and women are doing across the nation. I can't blame them. I've seen a lot of officers, current and former, that say the job isn't worth it right now. So anybody that's a police officer, a firefighter, any kind of public safety at all, hey, I salute you. You are the best. Thank you for your service. And I don't say that in a kind of cheesy way, in an obligatory way. I'm serious because I know how hard it is right now. Y'all keep your head up, keep the morale high, and hopefully you don't have any kind of BLM nonsense to do with. Just understand this as I close. The majority of normal thinking people do not support that stuff. All right. You got some normies that are out there calling themselves peacefully protesting, but they don't understand what they're doing. They think they're doing something that's positive and is great and they're trying to help black people. They don't know what they're really doing. All right. They're really damaging the black community. They're damaging America. They're damaging all Americans. For what though? A guy that was high on drugs, he died, and that's unfortunate, but I mean, people die from drugs all the time. It's not an uncommon occurrence. I think we should just kind of keep that in the foreground and not push it to the back and understand why we're here right now. At a certain point, we got to assign blame where it goes, not where some would like for it to be. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Are you surprised that the officers retiring all at once? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. Or are you not surprised. If that's your viewpoint, let me know why. You guys know where I stand. I'm not surprised, and it was a good thing. They see what's happening. They see the next steps, and they want to send a message. It's like, we're not going to take this. You're not going to treat us like garbage. I'm going to treat us like trash. What are you going to do when we're not here anymore? That's got to be the message. And maybe you got to have that happen in order for those that are in power to help them or not to understand how important they are, to do things to keep the officers they have. Because you don't want a mass exodus. You can't have that, because you're going to have general chaos and lawlessness in your city. You don't want that. You know, the mayor, Lovely Warren, what's going to be the case when she has a bunch of goons show up to her house wanting to break in, wanting to hurt her? Where the police going to be? If they got defunded or if they all retired because they didn't have any support, they had low morale, what are you going to do? We need the police. We don't need less. We don't need defunding. We don't need funds shifted, which is the same thing as defund. We don't need any of that. We need actually more police, and they should be treated better, not poorly as they are right now. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.